Hi, this is Mrs. Martinez. Today I'm going to walk you through a lesson on adding integers. Take a moment to title your notes Chapter 2, Lesson 2-4. Our objective will be adding integers with the same and different signs. Today's lesson has two key vocabulary words that we'll focus on. The first concept or key vocabulary word is opposites. Integers 5 and -5 are called opposites of each other because they are on the same distance from 0 on a number line. So if you can see the number line here, I've illustrated 0 is in the middle, -5 is exactly 5 units from 0, 5 is exactly 5 units from 0. So they're opposite of each other. The next concept is absolute value. And the distance of a number on the number line from 0 is the official definition for absolute value. It's written, as you see here, the absolute value of 5 is 5. Again, it's the distance on the number line from 0. So 5 is here, 5 units from 0, so the absolute value of 5 is 5. If you look at the absolute value of -5, it is also equal to 5. Again, the distance from 0 on a number line, 5 units, it also equals 5. So the absolute value of 5 and -5 are both 5. Next are the steps to solve. Take a minute and title your notes that this is adding integers with the same sign. The steps are as follows. Use a number line to solve. You'll start at 0. Move right for positive numbers and move left for negative numbers. Lastly, you'll find the sum. Note that the sum of two positive integers is positive and the sum of two negative integers is negative. Our first example, find -6 plus -3 using a number line to solve. We start at 0. We will go to the left 6 units because it is a -6 and we know negative goes to the left. We'll then add another -3 to the left, and to find the sum, we would end at -9. So, -6 plus -3 is indeed -9. Now I'd like you to list the steps to solve when you're adding integers with different signs. There's two methods we use to solve problems with integers that have different signs. Method 1 is use a number line. Just like we did with our first example, start at 0, move to the right for positive numbers, move to the left for negative numbers, and then you'll find your sum. Let's look at an example. Find 8 plus -7. Again, start at 0. Move to the right 8 units because that is a positive 8. And move to the left 7 units because that is a -7. You end up at a +1. So 8 plus -7 is indeed +1. Let's check your progress. Can you find -6 plus 4? Put that on a number line. Remember, the first step is to start at 0. And you'll move left for negative numbers and right for positive numbers. Did you get to -2? Starting at 0, moving to the left 6 units, moving to the right 4, ending at -2. -6 plus 4 is in fact -2. Now let's look at the steps to solve adding integers with different signs, but using that second method. So we're going to use absolute value to solve. Remember, absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. The 3 steps I've listed here, please note in your notebook, is to subtract the absolute values, select the number that has the greater absolute value, and know that the sum will have the sign of the greater number. Let's try an example. Find negative 9 plus 6 using absolute value. The first step would be to subtract the absolute values. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9, and the absolute value of 6 is 6. So I am going to subtract 9 and 6. So 9 minus 6 equals 3. Then you're going to select the number that has the greater absolute value. Negative 9 had the greater absolute value because we know that 9 is greater than 6. So I'm selecting negative 9. And last, the sum will have the sign of that greater number. So the sign will be negative. So negative 9 plus 6 equals negative 3. Let's check your progress. Can you find 2 plus negative 7 using absolute value? Remember to subtract the absolute values first. You would have to find the absolute value of 2 and find the absolute value of negative 7. Did you come up with the answer of negative 5? I subtracted 2 from 7. 7 minus 2 equals 5. And then I know my answer is going to be 5. I have to check my sign. I selected the number that has the greater absolute value, which was 7. So my number was negative 7. So that indicated me that the sum will have the sign of that greater number, which was negative. And so 2 plus negative 7 is in fact negative 5. That concludes my lesson and our note-taking for adding integers. I'd like to leave you with a small video clip that illustrates exactly how and why adding integers works.
You can use positive and negative counters to model the addition of integers. This counter represents 1. These counters represent positive 3. This counter represents negative 1. These counters represent negative 3. Use counters to find negative 2 plus negative 4. Remember that addition means combining 2 sets. Combine a set of 2 negative counters and a set of 4 negative counters. Find the total number of counters. So negative 2 plus negative 4 equals negative 6. Use counters to find negative 5 plus 3. Combine 5 negative counters with 3 positive counters. A positive counter and a negative counter together are called a zero pair, because 1 plus negative 1 is 0. Find all zero pairs. Remove all zero pairs. Find the number that remains. So negative 5 plus 3 equals negative 2. Use counters to find 4 plus negative 1. Combine 4 positive counters with 1 negative counter. Find all zero pairs. Remove zero pair. Find the number that remains. So 4 plus negative 1 is 3.